Dan and Dragons presents Dungeons and Buddies, where a group of friends talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Hello everybody, and welcome to something else that we do today. And it's not a campaign session, it's not a session. It's basically just four friends, four people talking about D&D. Maybe someone else is going to join later, but we'll see. And it's called D&D Talk. So what are we going to do? We're just going to talk about our favorite thing in the world, which is Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe we can introduce ourselves. Let me start to break the ice. My name is Daniel, DM Dan. I am the DM of season number 1, Adventures of the Sword Coast, and I am Veranen Silverian, the Dampier of season 2. And I am here joined with Nikki.
Hey!
Hold on. Now I'll do it for you. Yeah, there you go.
Yay!
Oh, I don't have applause. No, we do have applause. There we go.
Yeah.
Nikki, who are you?
I am Nikki. I am the girlfriend of the DM, so you can all guess why I'm here.
You have to.
It's so right.
I don't have a choice. No. It started a little bit with not having much choice, having interest, but then also not having much choice. By now, I started enjoying it. So, but I play Azaria in the first season, and I play Kokat in the second season.
Kokat.
I'm an Arakokra, so I have a bird voice. So yeah.
Really cool character, by the way. Yeah.
And continue. Go on. No, take it over.
Just dropping the ball. So,
Yeah, go for it.
Then we have Jeroen, if I may use his real name. Who's
Well, it's too late now, so it's okay.
and he can edit it out.
All right, DMJ, run.
Yes.
Run. I need to get an echo or something.
Echo.
I'm DM Jaren. I'm running the season 2 campaign, Adventures of Alderon. It's my homebrew campaign, so that's pretty cool. And before that, in season 1, I was again. Damn it. Oh yeah, Damus the Warlock. Yes.
Damus the Trickster. That's bad.
So bad that
We've been playing it for 1.5 years.
41 sessions.
Exactly.
You even forget that shows that you don't listen back to the podcast. Nonetheless, put it out there. And these voices we know if you listen. You know, those few in the world that listen. But there is also a person that is here joining us today, which is a very good friend of mine. I also play D&D, not online. Yes, I actually do. And she's a magnificent character and DM, and she's Ilse.
Oh, that's so lovely, Dan. Thank you. I'm Ilse. I have been playing D&D for like 3 years now. I'm currently in Rime of the Frostmaiden campaign with Daniel. It's lovely. We had a great session yesterday. Good laugh, good fight, a lot of fun. But I also DM, and I created my own homebrew world based on Disney princesses and an entire system around it. So I have some ideas and thoughts about different mechanics.
Yes.
So I thought it would be fun to join and talk about my favorite hobby.
Which is magic cards, right?
No, it's dice.
It was a joke.
Yes.
Sometimes I can joke. But the Disney Princesses campaign is a phenomenon in the Game Force these days. It's crazy, but we'll dive into that probably. No, we're definitely going to dive into that later. But I have some questions written down that if we don't know what to talk about or if we stop. But the first question, how I got to this part, basically how I got to the idea to do this thing right here, is that at my work, my boss, or how you would like to call it. I don't say you have a boss because a dog has a boss.
Leader.
A leader, employer. Anyways, she asked me
Your DM.
what my
Your DM.
Yes, if I call her my dungeon master, she's gonna really look weird at me. But she asked me the question, what is Dungeons and Dragons? And that occurred to me. And I would like to ask you three, how do you describe what you do with Dungeons and Dragons to friends and family that have no idea what Dungeons and Dragons is? Because at one point she said, oh, so you play kind of theater. And I'm like, just never mind. Yes, I do play a bit of theater. So how, if you've got, and probably you definitely have got the question, like, what is Dungeons and Dragons? How do you explain this to people that have no idea what it is?
Well, I first of all always ask them, like, have you ever watched The Big Bang Theory? And if I'm lucky, they say yes, and then they already have a clue. And if I'm unlucky, then they say no, never watched it. Then it becomes hard, and then it's like a board game, but not really a board game, but it's role playing. You need to make your characters. There are rules, but you don't actually need a board for it. And we're playing together. Yeah.
Or Stranger Things.
Yeah, I often get the question, oh, like in Stranger Things, and I've never watched Stranger Things, and then just go, yeah, sure. Because, like, people, when I start explaining D&D, they just look at me weird, so I usually, honestly, and I'm quite ashamed to admit, I usually just say I play board games.
Yeah.
All right.
But
which basically is not really, because you can also have sessions without anything on the table.
Exactly. So it's really difficult to explain to people who don't get it.
It is. That's why my question. How do you explain it so that people understand? My father saw my dice and he's like, oh, so what are the dice for? And I'm like, yeah, because sometimes you fight, you need to throw, and this and that, and then something like, oh, and you just see in their face that they completely lose you.
No, yeah, you lost them. They have no clue what you're talking about.
Yep.
Well, I would say it is definitely a tabletop role-playing game. The tabletop game part is there's a game. It has a set of mechanics and rules. You have to roll for dice for outcomes, just like any other board game. But at the same time, you do the role play. You impersonate a character that you create yourself, just like any other PC game. You create when you create a character for World of Warcraft or whatever, you create a warrior or a mage, or that's the same thing. But now you just role play them out in a lot in your mind, actually, with the people that you play with.
Yeah, but it is a good answer.
That is one of the best answers I've heard. Yes, I'm gonna keep that. Well done.
I usually, if I try to use that explanation, because I did try once, and then people look at me confused, like, but what is tabletop role-playing? And I try to explain it again. They keep getting stuck on, like, the first part, so usually I just say, like, oh, we pretend to be other people and we go on adventures together that one person has thought out, and we follow that. And I am sometimes also that person. So I make the people at my table, they are Disney princesses, and they pretend to be Disney princesses while I guide them through an adventure in a world I created. And usually that also helps with the imagination and a little bit more Jip and Janneke taal. I don't know how to say that in English. Is there a word for that in English?
Gibberish.
Gibberish.
No, gibberish is not Jip and Janneke taal. It's like explaining it for children, basically. Like very easy step in kind of thing. All right, cool. Yeah, very great explanation from DM Jaren right there. So, all right. So, what got you into D&D? How did you get into it? Was there a specific moment or a specific person that pulled you in? Did you see it before, or how did you get to know Dungeons and Dragons? Who wants to go first? Or if we don't know what to do first, then you can roll a dice, and then the one with the highest starts first.
Oh, but I really have a cool story.
All right, yeah, cool.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not really cool. It's cool to me, because I had a friend who said like, oh, you would really love D&D, and you would love playing a bard. And that's just what he said to me, and I was like, oh, but isn't that like for nerds? Was my reply. I will get to the cool part. And then we played once, and we played like the first. We played Curse of Strahd and like the first session, which is the House of Doom. And I made a Goliath druid, who is very dear to my heart. She fought, and she got murdered by a broom in a closet, as you do in the House of Doom. And I was hooked. I wanted to throw more shinies, I wanted to do more character creation and play more. But then it was a really big group of people, I think like maybe 8. So we're at the table with 7, which now I know that's way too much. But we really couldn't plan a session, so I started looking like a few years later. And on my birthday, I was like, I want to do something fun today. I want to make new friends. And I googled it, and I found Game Force in Eindhoven. And I was like, I'm gonna go here. And well, it was the best decision of my life, because now I have the greatest friends and a lovely community around me to play this board game or tabletop role-playing game that I really, really love. So yeah, that's how I started playing D&D. And now
story.
I do like it.
Yay!
I just wanted to do something else in the applause, but there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Jeroen, I'm very curious to you, because you're a very how is it called? You just mentioned it. Help me out, Jeroen. DM Jaren.
Yeah, I don't know what I've just mentioned, but
you mentioned what you have the Lord of the Rings that you have at home, Warhammer.
also, yeah.
That's yeah.
Well,
okay.
I dare say that I am kind of I've always been kind of an it has such the wrong load of the word, but I'm a little bit of a nerd, you know. So I've always been playing games, role playing. I do play Warhammer as well with Lord of the Rings miniatures, so I love tabletop miniature wargaming as well. I actually knew about Dungeons and Dragons when I was 18 already. So I always wanted to do it, but never had the right group of friends to do it with. And I remember that one time when I was 25, I believe, so quite a while ago. I even tried to play a game with some friends in Utrecht, but I live in Southern Netherlands, so they played live sessions. So if we had a game, I actually had to travel to Utrecht from Southern Netherlands, and that was like way too big of a commitment to keep up. So, and you know, one thing is with D&D that if you miss a few games and the campaign goes on, you lose the interest. Then you're not involved anymore, and then it's very easy to just stop continuing or participate in the campaign. So that's what happened to me the first time, and now this successful time, like 1.5 years ago, which was really cool. DM Dan hosted this campaign. Well, first it was we wanted to organize a campaign. There was this other guy who was going to play, and Dan was going to play, and my brother was invited. And via my brother, he said like, "Hey, we're going to play Dungeons and Dragons. Would you like to join?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I would love to join. I've always been very interested to join." And then with this, I think live sessions must be amazing to do. I still really want to do them. But playing online via Owlbear and Discord is actually a great solution for me in a relatively busy life that I have. So I'm very happy about that. And yeah, very excited to play Dungeons and Dragons right now.
Very cool. Great story. Do I need to do the applause again?
I can do it. Oh wait.
Yeah. Please feel free. Great. Nikki, how did your story? I'm very curious to how it goes with you. What was your introduction to it?
Yeah, basically, I was always like, I would not really call myself a nerd per se, but I was always into video games and role-playing and board games and everything, like the big package. And then, yeah, it did what I mentioned before. We've been watching The Big Bang Theory, and it just looked very interesting. And yeah, it was together that you and me been somewhere where we came across actually the starter kit for D&D. And it was quite pricey, and the same as Jeroen, we decided like, it's like we don't have a group of friends who would actually like to join, so we can't really play it ourselves. But then we always wanted to. I don't actually know how we came to the conclusion eventually that we are gonna play it. It's probably, oh yeah, now I know it, but that's something that you are gonna explain a bit more in details. Nevertheless, you started playing indeed with the group that Jeroen mentioned, and eventually you decided that you're gonna start your own campaign. And as we said before, I didn't have much of a choice than to join in.
Did you do that yourself now?
Yes, I did it myself. Because also I'm the person behind in the podcast who is doing 90% of the soundboard. So yeah, in the beginning it started like, yes, it's interesting, I want to do it, but it looked way too complicated for me to actually really get into it. But by now I'm really so far in it that in my free times I'm sometimes checking things, how could I improve my character and those kind of things. So I'm busted.
But it's really fun.
Yeah. So once you start to get to know the basics, I still have a lot to learn, but once you start to get the hang of it, it's really fun. I also think that my character from season 2 is I'm somehow much more in line with that character. Like my one from season 1 I also really loved, but it was way too big of a challenge for me for a beginner, I think. This one from the Aarakocra Ranger from season 2 is easier to handle, easier to understand. So I really can fully focus on role playing it, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that's basically it.
It's such a difference. There's such a difference between Azareya and Kakat. It's like a different person, really. It's.
What kind of racing class did you play before?
I was an Eladrin cleric.
Eladrins are very difficult, just as clerics.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I'm really love if I create a character in any video game, board game, whatsoever. You can ask Dan. I am spending hours on creating a character into detail, and when I had the choice, like, okay, choose something to like create a character, I went through every book, every possibilities, and I was like, oh wow, an Eladrin elf. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I didn't understand back then how incredibly difficult it is. Yeah. And also a cleric, I was like, okay, we probably need a healer. Because the group didn't really have a healer, and then from the options, I was like, okay, let's go with this one. And yeah, that was quite a hard. It was a really hard choice. Yeah, that was a very hard one in the beginning. Also, like understanding, like, okay, now I have to roleplay. Now I have to roll the dice. I have to do all these things, and I need to keep in mind that my character is changing, because for the ones who don't know, Eladrin elves have can change into 4 different seasons.
Yeah.
So whatever season you choose in after a long rest, that affects your character, and that is, I think, really for people who have already experience. By the end of the campaign, I managed it a bit more, but still, right now I just see that when you have just a simpler character, then it's much easier to focus on other things, especially at this point still. Maybe in 5 years I'm going to be able to again play a more complicated character and also do the whole role-playing thing. So yeah.
That does not mean you have to hold back, though. Like, if you
No.
want to, you can... Yeah, like, you can certainly try, but it is more difficult, and especially don't conform yourself to picking something that doesn't spark you as much joy because you feel like you have to fit in with the party.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing to do. Here, I have the feeling that with Dungeons and Dragons, really, any party you could literally play like 4 fighters or four barbarians, and it would still somehow end up okay if you just play. Party composition is not that important.
It really isn't. Like, of course, if you have a campaign, it is good to have a healer, but there are ways around it. All classes can be front lines. You can build your way to that. But the most important thing is that you have fun, which is something
Exactly.
I also always say at my tables at the beginning. Like, let me know if you want to change something or you want to do something, because I'd much rather that everyone has fun and we don't really do the nitty-gritty rule thing than that we do the nitty-gritty rule thing but no one has fun. And that also includes the DM.
Exactly. The DM actually, I mean, I've been thinking about DMing, of course, more often. Also, in the first campaign, I was thinking along with DM, and now I am playing DM. But the role of DM and the purpose of DM, the joy of the DM also, is that you design your campaign around the party. You help. Yeah, you design around the party in the way that if the group is lacking something for some reason, you just find a way to work with it as a DM. Because it's not the goal of the DM to wipe the party, by far.
Isn't it?
I mean, it's fun sometimes.
At least maybe one person of the, and the final boss battle, then it would be nice that at least one person perishes, just for exciting.
That's still what you think. We still might don't fully agree.
No, I know. I'm Draco. If you listen, rest in peace.
Oh, it was intentional. I hear.
There were.
Say, like, it is good for the players to feel like their actions have consequences.
Yeah.
Which includes player
Yes.
character death.
Because in our last campaign.
As a DM, there's always a balance.
Yeah.
In our last campaign, Adventure of the Sword Coast, the players were, at one point, they won every battle that I put in there. I threw trolls in there, a young green dragon. They got so cocky.
Oh, yeah.
So incredible that I'm like, I'm gonna make this final boss battle. I'm gonna boost. In the book, the dragon is a level 7 or so. I made it a level 13.
Sure.
I wanted them to yes, you still killed it, even though it costed 1 life. I could have done things a bit different, but there were definitely a couple of things in that campaign that were intentional. I'm listening it back now, actually, because at work I have ears in, and I'm listening the whole podcast back from episode 1 till, and I'm now at episode 10, I think. And when I listen to this, I manipulated so many things in that campaign for the outcome. For example, can you remember that Sephion killed the dwarf?
Yeah.
That was intentionally. That was planned by me.
Oh.
I wanted him to kill the dwarf. Yeah. I planted a seed in his mind, and they thought it was his idea, but no, it was the big DM's.
Oh.
Oh, this. Yeah, there you go. But nonetheless, you're very much right. Yeah. So only Nikki is not DM'd, but surprise, surprise, she's really thinking of doing, right?
Oh.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Yeah, I always said actually like 2-3 months ago I still said I'm gonna never DM because it's just way too much. That's again a next level of learning the rules and the whole role playing and guiding the people. That's just another level. But then here I come. I'm a very big Witcher fan, and I saw that there will be a D&D book coming out soon that is based on Slavic and Witcher folklore, and my backgrounds are Slavic. I'm from Eastern Europe, so it's really up my alley. With our traditions and folklore and everything, I would really love to mix that together with D&D. So by the time the book comes out, I probably am going to be so far like, okay, now I actually really want to DM and have a campaign or like a 5-shot or a 10-shot, like a story. It might not be too long, but definitely would love to put that world into a campaign.
If I may be so bold,
Yeah, sure.
I have a character that was meant for a Slavic campaign, but the DM just wasn't my vibe.
Oh,
Which is also really important, by the way. You need to,
sure.
have a bond with. But if I also may give you like some advice, just do it. I was playing D&D for 1 year when I went to like, there was this for new GMs. There was a day at Game Force where you could sign up and do some like, from experienced GMs, get some tips and tricks on how they do it.
I was there as well. I was even sitting on the same table as you were.
I don't remember that.
Oh yes, I did, because that was right after one of the first sessions we had.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Has it been that long?
Yes, that was. I'm sorry, I'm quite good with dates. It was the 4th of November, 2023.
Oh, that's
Wow.
really cool.
precise.
I like how you remember that.
It was. Yeah. I don't know. I expected a bit more from that day.
I understand, though. But I wanted to say, just start doing it, because there's always going to be someone with more experience and with more knowledge of the rules. But honestly, you are the DM. What you say goes.
Yeah.
To an extent, of course. Like, you can't say, haha, I kill you. That's no fun. And then we come back to, it needs to be fun for everyone.
Sure.
But you can always ask for help. I've done that so many times. I cannot even count anymore. And people are always like, "Yeah, everything was fine. It was fun." And they just point out the right rules, and then all's well. So don't worry about it.
I really find the idea of your Disney campaign very good, very interesting. It's a bit different, I assume.
Yes.
But it is based on something else and not the classic D&D thing. That's what I've been thinking. Like, I've been replaying The Witcher 3, and I'm like, oh, I would just love it if I could roleplay this setting.
Let's go back a bit. Sorry to interrupt you. Did you still want to finish your sentence? I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
We were talking about it right now, but Jonas has no idea the stuff I've heard about Disney Princesses
Please.
campaign.
Please.
So, Ilse, would you like to tell us a bit about Jeroen? It's not really what you think that it is. I think it's incredible. Yeah, no. Please give us some flavor, Ilse, what it's about.
First, I will give you some background into how this idea came to be, because I was listening to this to this artist who makes songs. She's called Lydia the Bard. And she makes songs about what if Disney princesses were villains. And Belle is my all-time favorite Disney princess. And I heard that song and I was like, this is such a good speech for a D&D villain. And I was thinking about that. I was like, what if I just do that? What if I just have characters who who are going to try and save Belle, but and they think that they are going to save her, but she turns out to be evil in the end. And I was like, that's good. And that's how I started writing the story. And then I was like, you know what would be even better? If they were also princesses. So I have, I think, 3 Excel sheets now, filled with all the Disney princesses, official, non-official, and I made all of them into D&D characters. So I figured out what would be their class, what would be their race, because they're not all variant humans, what would be their stats. And I made every single one of them a homebrewed magic item that would fit with their character. And then I just started playing, and I had some friends first, so I asked which Disney princess would you like to play, and I found some other resources, but this is mostly a brain fart. But my tables were filled, like the tables go online at 7. 1 minute past 7, my Disney tables were full. Oh. I was like, and I couldn't believe people liked this, because the thing was the same every single time. But then my head started to, my players are always a bit chaotic, because I am a bit chaotic. And a bit you can put in between brackets, because I'm a lot chaotic. But, there were a lot of sex jokes and flirting, which is mostly lesbian flirting, because everyone was playing a princess, even the guys. There have been a lot of guys at my table who have loved playing a Disney princess. And so I was thinking with the few people who kept returning, and I asked each one of them individually, would you consider joining a campaign if we did this? And they were like, yes. So we did. I leveled them up. I had a talk with them about what they would want for their princess, what their goal was. Because in my mind, and I'm not going to say too much about the plot line here, because it's going to go on Spotify, and I might think that one of my players might be a listener of you guys.
Really?
Oh.
Then that's the one that is listening always. There's.
I think Anna might be listening in, but I don't know for sure.
Oh, Anna? Yeah, no, could be.
And.
Yep, that's what I heard. I saw a drawing of Anna, which is Disney princesses having pillow fights, laying on top of each other, and just the most bizarre stuff that I've seen. I do not say this proudly. I say this with a little bit of tears in my eyes. I DM'd an entire orgy. Fucking hell! How did that go? Do you need to throw? Oh yes!
I couldn't wait to use this sound.
DMJ, and we have a new sound for the soundboard.
Oh boy.
Oh, I thought you left after this, but it's we have a laughing track now. In sitcoms,
That can be fun, actually.
Exactly.
I am slightly crying, but no, it was very funny. It was a one-time thing, which I also discussed with my players. But it was a thing that all of them wanted to do.
Oh God.
Jesus, were it all girls?
No.
Damn.
So my players were with 6 total, and one of them is a guy. He's amazing. He plays Rapunzel. It's lovely. He's the worst of them all. He is the instigator of this. But basically, that's what happened. And now they're on a plot to figure out... Wait, no, they already defeated the Frost Giant in the cocaine lab. Which is a rivalry of Snow White's cocaine lab.
It's Snow White, makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And Rapunzel is our drug user. And Merida is just, looking for other lesbians. We have Anna and Elsa, who were both in the orgy, which was awkward, but you know.
And this all happened in Game Force?
No, we had one session at Game Force, and then we realized this is mostly roleplay. This is also mostly not safe for work roleplay. Let's take it at Sundays, do it at someone's home, and then
Damn.
we can be just as loud and rambunctious as we want to be.
Very rambunctious.
Yes, but luckily, all of my players, well, all but the one playing Rapunzel, have mentioned to me that they want to, you know, figure out like the storyline and dive into the story, which is actually really nice because I was hoping they would when we got into a flow a bit more. Because I put so much thought and work into it. But basically, it's just chaos, and it is really not all that wholesome as it sounds. It is cool and fun, though.
I definitely can imagine. Unfortunately, there are no spots left anymore. And there's no podcast to listen back, so it's all very...
No, I don't you make a podcast. One, because like every other sentence needs to be bleeped.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's more for different kind of websites then probably.
Yeah, and also because, oh my god, my rats.
So it's completely homebrew.
Yes.
Then we get back.
Also heard, Aaron, that you're also doing.
That's just what I wanted to do. Like now we're gonna switch it up. Of course, me and Nikki know the world of Alderaan, which is a beautifully crafted world. I respect so much what Jaren did there. But maybe you would like to give like a snippet to Ilse of what your world is about.
Yeah, okay. I have to say, but first, it sounds like a cool thing that you made, Ilse, the world and the homebrew. Yeah, Alderaan. I mean, I think.
Are you okay? Is your mic okay? You sounded a bit distorted.
Yeah? Oh, is it better now again?
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. No. Well, when I wanted to DM, I was sure I wanted to do create my own world. Here again, like coming back to where I came from, even at high school as a kid, I always drew up maps on my own in my school books and everything. So I really like creating worlds. So that's actually where I started creating the world of Alderaan. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna draw a map of the world, and then okay, what kind of creatures are in my world, and what's going on in this world, and so actually like pretty much the world creating 101 basics, step by step. Okay, what powers are in this world? What's going on? Where do the dwarves live? Where do the elves live? And then that way I kind of created something which now has a very extensive lore already. I mean, I can't say too much about it because we're still only in episode 5 and our players still have a lot to learn on their own. But I try to find a nice sweet spot between prepare some things like the greater story plots, but also leave a lot up for the players to decide on what's going to happen. So there's a lot of things that I thought of while we were playing. I was like, yeah, okay, they're doing this. Okay, then I can. Then I came up with an idea to just to adapt to that. But yeah, in the greater story, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. But again, a shame I can't say too much about that right now. But yeah.
Well, I just if you know me, then you know that I always at every episode at least need to mention my website, which is www.dansimworld.nl. Ilse, I shared a link in the chat because we actually have a map of Alderaan on the website. Where you can have a look and then also have a bigger screen of the whole world that Jaren created. And
we'll look at it later.
Yeah, of course. And there's one city also in there, which is Light's Hope. Which
I should share you the map of Darlon as well by now, actually. You before it. So
or maybe some more NPCs and monsters or so, because now it's but we'll get there. No worries. That's not why I said it. Well, maybe I did.
I know.
But
You're you're towing there.
but have a look at it. It's we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Especially, I let you listen yesterday to Morgan Freebird, which was the Raven of a friend of us, and
That was hilarious.
oh my God, I had tears over my eyes. Tears over my eyes, really. That was so funny, and we have next Monday a session where probably are you gonna use the voice changer or not? Questioning?
Not sure yet. Yeah, question. Maybe.
If it works properly. Like the Raven, that's just it's
Exactly.
hilarious. It's insane. Good. Nikki,
Yeah.
would you mind if I ask some DM related questions? Because I got some nice questions here DM related.
Go ahead.
Let me see. So, what's your to-go trick for improvising when players go off the rails?
Am I supposed to answer that?
No, it's more like for the DMs. And since you've not been DM, you cannot answer this question. Aye.
On the future.
So, is there a go-to trick for improvising when players go off the rails?
I mean, I would like to know before we answer what Nikki's what she thinks her go-to trick would be.
Oh, very good.
Because then she cannot base it on our answers, and it gives me a little bit of time to think about my answer.
Very exciting.
So when they don't want to go, I choose C. No. So if they're not going the way I want them to. What would I do?
Yes, or off the rails, or they go into a direction that you definitely did not even prepare in the wildest dreams.
But I've been thinking, I was thinking about this a little bit. How would I do certain things to have a specific outcome? What I would do is I would just make them fail at every possible point until they not kill them or not harm them or anything. I would just make their life probably so hard that they would realize they need to get back to the point where I want them to be.
All right.
I think that would be like the only possibility, I think. But that is just that's just how I think about it now as someone who never DM'd before. Like okay, like I want them to do something. If they come up with a different thing, then I'm just gonna I don't want to spoil it, but I would just make them fail. Like, let's say there's a puzzle they need to solve and there's only one way, and they would have had to pay attention before, because I would probably try, this is a little bit of a spoiler, like I would probably in the beginning somewhere would spoil how they can solve a certain puzzle, and if they will not pay good enough attention to that, then they will not be able to solve the puzzle. So they're gonna have to go back to the point where they can figure it out.
True. What I was more thinking with this question is more like you prepared a city, you had 5 quests that they can have and that they can do, but then the whole group decides to leave the quest alone and they go to another city that they ever heard of, but you didn't prepare anything about that.
I would make it incredibly hard for them.
So they let the whole story go, every quest you prepared, they let it go, they didn't care, they just want to go to a different city and party. Or I don't know.
Is a quest even bound? A quest doesn't need to be bound to a city. You can always, what I do, and the oldest trick in the book.
And this is a trick. This is a trick. Yes.
If I give them a path and they can choose left or right, doesn't matter which way they go, I will give them the same fight or the same puzzle.
Yep.
And if they decide to split up the party, I usually have and I'll just say, oh, we'll take a 5-minute break, and I prepare something. I just Google, I just use palm through the monster menu. I'm like, oh, this is a cool monster I want to use. Sure.
Ooh, that reminds me of something from the last season. I did something because something went completely different than what I wanted them to, because they would skip a whole part, and I'm not sure if I ever told you this. Can you remember in the beginning you were looking for the map of Gundren Rockseeker?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, and you were going to Cragma Castle and to save Gundren Rockseeker, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, what you guys did is you went to Cragma Hideout and you let wolves sniff stuff, and then with a hunter who has advantage in forests, with high throws, were able to find Cragma Castle in like chapter 9, I think. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So that was way too soon, way too quick.
Oh.
Because you were skipping so much stuff. For example, Thunder 3 Ruins, where you had the green dragon, needed to be in between that part.
Oh, I had no idea, of course.
Of course not. So I was like, okay,
Funny.
they're gonna find Gundren Rockseeker. He has the map, which means that in Chapter 10, they go to Wave Echo Cave, which means that in 12 sessions, we're finished with the story.
Oh, wow.
So what did I do? I changed the map into a riddle, and that riddle led to Thunder Tree Ruins,
Yeah.
and in Thunder Tree Ruins, you find the map to Wave Echo Cave, and that was my improvising trick to make sure that you did not get to Wave Echo Cave that quickly.
Oh.
I never told you that, but yeah, I did that.
Honestly,
That's
can I tell you guys a secret?
Of course.
Uh,
Do I need to cut this out or not?
oh no.
Alright.
I never prepare shit, because if I prepare something, they're either gonna find another way or just gonna do something else entirely. Like, what was it? I had like a session of Disney and Dragons, which was a filler session because a few people couldn't show up and someone else did. Which was the boyfriend of one of our players, who also loved to be a Disney princess once. Okay, sure. And I was like, okay, so you get to this town called Welton, which is based on the Wolves of Welton one-shot I used to run a few times. And then two of the players said, you know, we played that one-shot with you before, right? And I was like, yes, I know. I was like, shit, what else can I do? Sure. And then I was just like looking, and they were role-playing and talking to the barkeep. And then Rapunzel asked if she could have a line of Coke. And he was like, sure.
This campaign, man.
That is how they were led to defeat the Frost Giant in the Coke Lab. Because it had taken over and they couldn't make any more Coke, and Rapunzel was heavily invested in that. So of course they had to figure out what to do with that. And I was like, yeah, this works. So usually it's just a lot of improvising. And I'm not good at like really last minute improvising. But I'm good at if I have like a 5 or 10 minute gap in which I can think of something else to do. I'll just bluff something and then I'll figure it out when we get to what I bluffed.
And I don't have to cut this out, right?
No.
Well, thank
No,
God.
they did that. They know
Saved
this.
me some work. Very good.
People who are at my tables, they know this because I also cannot lie.
Any to go to things that you do in improvising, Jaren, Mr. DM Jaren?
Well, I just I don't know the English word.
Say it in Dutch, okay.
I agree with the idea that you just create a story, and it doesn't matter the left or right thing. It's the same goes. Like if they go a whole different way, but you have a quest, you have a character they need to speak to, then all of a sudden I just place that character in that other city.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
still get to I think that's the best way to deal with that. Yeah.
Then is that railroading or is that not railroading?
I don't
I
think
have
that's
no idea.
no. I think, and that's what many people different or like I don't know how to say this correctly, but railroading is when you give them one path, like you.
Like what I was trying to explain that I would try to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What you try to explain is railroading.
Yeah.
People pick up on that really quickly. This instance, they think they made the choice. They didn't. You did. But, you know, their choices led them to another place. Sure, they'll talk to the same NPC. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter when. But they have to talk to the NPC to get to the next part. Sure, that'll happen.
Yeah, I think added to that, railroading, I believe the definition of railroading is not just that what the group encounters is always the same, but it's also added that how they should encounter it is something that the DM has thought of in his mind. But the how-to is totally up to the party. Like how to deal with it. If they decide to deal with the end boss, the big bad end guy, by fighting it, or do charisma, or riding a whole city, or whatever, that's the how to, and that's all up to the party. But the what is going on, that's something that just keeps coming back, and that's not necessarily railroading, I think.
That's a really good description.
All right, well done. Good. If you could bring one magic item from D&D into the real world, what would it be and why?
The ring of animal friendship, and I didn't even have to think about it very long.
And why?
Well, wonder why? No, yeah, exactly for what it is, like that you can befriend animals very quickly. And is that also the same ring that you can talk with animals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but obviously, yeah. I think I would really go for that one. I would love it.
I think that's a very good one.
And I would look like this Mother Nature who is attracting all the animals from the area, and then walking around, and I have tigers, dogs, cats, horses, sheep, everything walking around me. That's how I would.
Is it?
That's how I would use it.
And for DM Jaren, it's the wand of fireballs, right?
Maybe it's the one to find one. It comes close. It comes close.
Think about it. If you get.
Yeah.
Ilse, do you know it?
I've heard of something that's called a luck blade, which can give you the wish spell. I mean, that's pretty good, I guess.
Oh wow.
That's
So
talking overpowered then. Yeah.
I mean, the immediate thing that popped in my head was a bag of holding, and then I was like, why though?
yeah, why? You
But
could put so
like,
many.
maybe
Yeah.
so I can just fill it up with dice.
By now you need that. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
So I need it, and I have a lot of stuff. But like, I also thought indeed of the wand of fireballs, just because, you know, if people annoy me, I can just say, fireball, and then we do a little dance, and then the whole place burns down. But I think that would just get me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Is there like an infinite money magic item? Oh, this is a shame.
Wouldn't be bad either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would like that book that raises your charisma. There's like the tome of God, what is it called?
The Tome of God. What is it called?
No, there's this.
No, it wasn't funny. I'm sorry.
There's the Tome of Leadership and Influence.
Tome of
And you
Leadership
need
and
to spend
Influence.
48 hours over a period of 6 days. I looked it up. And it raises your charisma with 2. And it loses its magic for a century, which is like, it's just buff basically. But I think
Isn't
I
there
could
also
do
a
a little
magic
bit more
item?
charisma.
I thought there's also a magic item that brings your charisma to 20, but
No,
it only works if your charisma is not higher than 20 or something like that, or is
No,
lower?
you can. This one can raise it up to 30. I
What?
believe.
Oh wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
But
insane.
like, you gain 2, just not higher than 30.
That's
Which
insane.
I mean, that's very fair.
Wow.
What would yours be?
I was looking up if there is a magic item with infinite money. I know money doesn't give you happiness, no, but it's fucking useful.
Yeah, but money buys me dice, and dice give me happiness.
So money buys me other stuff that gives me happiness, but you can never have enough money. But if it's infinite, then what's the problem?
Demas would totally agree with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Demas, indeed. You like here I go again. I'm listening back to the campaign, but you played that role so well with every little treasure stuff and these little things that I didn't notice before that you say and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, you really played that very well. Need to say, Demas the Trickster was well, maybe Jaren can explain. He can explain it the best, of course, because it was his character.
Yeah, of course. Well, Demas, he was a thug. He was born on the streets, so he basically had the characters of a rogue, but then he was a warlock, so he was kind of a warlock rogue. A lot of deception spells, but he was always out for earning more money, and he actually had a pact with his devil. That his life goal was to get stinking rich, and he had to pay Balthazar as well for it. But yeah,
Balthazar. Yeah.
That tricky devil.
That was a tricky devil, yeah. I hope you enjoyed how I played him, though.
Oh yeah, I really appreciated how you played it. Like you had a really nice balance as well between the boons that it gives, but also the sacrifices that it requires. Yeah.
Enlighten me, please.
There is a podcast on Spotify that you can listen if you really want to know more. No, joking.
Okay, I understand.
Give us a like or a 5-star review anywhere you find us. Nonetheless, Balthazar was his, and I played because, of course, as a DM, you put the backstory, make it as much as important as the main story itself, so players keep being engaged. And I did that with Demas as being Balthazar from Avernus, who once in a while showed his face during the night when the rest was asleep at camp. Demas would wake up and Balthazar was there, offering him more power for more money. Because Balthazar said that the power he gave to Demas was power that needed to be paid for. So once Balthazar was a devil that was found himself very cool and very important, but in the world of devils he was kind of a nobody. He was stupid. So he made some mistakes by giving wand of fireballs very early in the beginning of the story, and that was very stupid.
Your mistake, or
It was my mistake, yes. But
He's gonna just give him something, and then it turned out that was something that he continuously used.
yes. So at one point I changed it into okay, you can only use it 7 times and then it destroys itself unless you take the fire from the fortress spells from Wave Echo Cave into a lantern. But not saying that you cannot move the fire because the brazier is magic and not the fire. And that's how the devil tricked Demas all the time. Demas lost a lot of gold. For example, I made the first time you encountered him, Balthazar told you that he would make your Eldritch Blast. Every time you would use your Eldritch Blast for the next 24 hours, it would be with advantage. But you had to give him half your gold.
Yeah, that was a bad deal.
Yes, because you didn't fight that session. But you lost half your gold, and all that guy, and he did so, and then you asked him for the Wave Echo Cave, but he wanted to have the Wand of Fireballs back. You denied to give the Wand of Fireballs back, so he led you to a tribe that led you to a cave with 4 Yetis. Yeah, Balthazar was a tricky devil, tricky devil. But he was also stupid because then Cephion offered, when the group found out that Balthazar was the devil that is from Dymus, then Cephion, the paladin from Brum, he offered him the helmet that he got. The only thing the helmet does was give you red glowing eyes. But he thought he could impose the other devils with it, and so he went very proud back to Inverness, and that's the last thing you ever heard of Balthazar in that campaign.
Kind of.
Cool.
Yeah, the main menace, the Black Spider, they didn't find the whole campaign. Not spoiler alert.
But we had quite somewhat of an open ending.
You
so
definitely have an open ending, and it's gonna lead into Out of the Abyss. Spoiler alert, which you both already know. But that's season 3 or season 4 or whenever, 2020.
Or by now 5, maybe.
Who knows? We'll see. We're gonna play D&D much more, of course.
That's always everyone's hope, isn't it?
Yeah.
More D&D.
Yes. Well, our group is now together for how long? More
A year and a half now, I think. Yeah.
almost 2 years. It was 20. We started in August 2023.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's almost 2 years that we played one. This is the second campaign, but I already know that there's a lot of chapters. How many chapters do you think we're still going to play in Alderaan?
I mean, there's a lot of chapters to play.
If you see the pace that we are having right now.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I mean, I hope we've had a lot of bad luck. I think mostly from with Bergie and Bram, and I'm also busy, but I can make time. I hope to play more sessions again.
Of course, but I mean like in sessions, not in time, but more in sessions. How much sessions do you think?
I more frequently. That's what I want to say. I hope we're going to play a little bit more frequently again.
Well, then we know that, Ilse.
But I think we will definitely play at least I hope to play at least 15 more sessions, if not. I mean, there's still a lot of things to go to. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's probably going to end up at least 40, I think, because what happened in season 1 as well, that the guys at one point decided that they need all magic items and things that are going to be crafted specifically for them, that they never ended up even picking up, I think, or don't even know if they eventually used it, but then we had to go and collect things and do things, and we spent so many sessions on getting the gold together, the every little detail together, so that they can order an item from a blacksmith or from anybody to craft them something. And
half of the campaign was homebrew. Yeah. Because so eventually, like, it went to so many different places, and it was really not even important for the campaign. We never really used it. We spent so much time on trying to start our casino, and and build it up. We even did like interviewing people. There was like one whole session went on interviewing the staff that we want to hire. That's interesting. Yeah.
Dan, what would you call that?
What do you mean?
Well, I didn't want to say it because you have just been asking questions, but in our campaign we just call that playing The Sims.
Yeah, The Sims. Yeah. In the campaign with Ilse, we I think we 2 whole sessions, because we got a house in very early. We got a house in Brian Shander, and 2 whole sessions we played who gets which room and how to decorate the rooms. Yeah, 2 whole sessions we played that.
Yeah, cleaning the kitchen and just homey stuff.
And as a Goliath, I don't need a room, so I was quite silent for those sessions. I just wanted to sleep in the garden, which I sometimes still do.
And then we got you a garden and help you plant some things. It was fun, right?
Of course, don't get me wrong. I have every time we have a session. Every time when we have a session, I'm definitely having fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last campaign, they got a house as well in Vandalin, and they decided to make it a casino, but it was a ruin.
Smart choice.
So, but the carpenter of Vandalin got killed by a dragon, so there was no carpenter. So I'm like, oh, there might be one in Neverwinter. Okay, we go to Neverwinter. Neverwinter is not in the book. So I had to create the whole of Neverwinter with shops and houses, and I think I created 3 different taverns and all
The whole of Neverwinter? Wow.
And then what did we decide? Where do we want to go to the casino?
Yeah,
We didn't.
Jalen, you know that I created Neverwinter, right? No, Neverwinter is real, of course. It exists in the Faerun and stuff. But that is not in the book. You didn't know that was not in the book?
No.
No, in the 2 books you don't get to go to Neverwinter. That's not in there.
Wow.
I probably just realizes this.
And Aegorim, the purple in Mount Hothnau, is not in the book.
Yeah, that was also. I think I enjoyed that even more, Agrim.
Then, Jesus, they went to Neverwinter. Sephion was a paladin with Oathbreaker, but then he changed his oath again to be now good. Then the goddess Shar, which is was his previous goddess, she destroyed all the weapons and cursed him that if the curse would not be lifted, he would die within 7 days.
Oh, that as well, indeed.
I definitely would have let him die, because in my opinion, as a paladin, you are already an Oathbreaker. You change your oath again, that has consequences. So you needed to fix the curse. How they fixed the curse? They went to an island where they had to fight Medusa. How did I come up with these things? And then Medusa had an Enigma tablet, and if they would if all the companions sacrifice something dear to them, then he would be cured. There they fought. What was it? The tigers with the
Black Panther.
Yeah, the Black Panther things. Yeah. Ilse, help me out. How do they call it? There's a website which is called www.
Indeed. Why don't we have that open?
What Panther things?
I'm looking it up. Monsters. It's called Displacer Beast.
Displacer Beast.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They fought Displacer Beast on the island of Medusa.
They're shitty.
And then Draco / Bergie wanted to make a Displacer coat out of it.
That's possible, yes.
Yes, but that's very hard. And so he asked, "Oh, is there someone in the world that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there must be." And I already created Flatnock the Blue, which is basically Gandalf in reverse. And then his brother is Aegorim the Purple. He lives in Mount Hothnau, so I told them, then you have to go to Mount Hothnau. And Aegorim had a telescope on the mountain and with that telescope he could see everything. But it would cost them 1,000 gold to create the code. But if they would go into his cellar kind of thing inside the mountain to retrieve something very dear to him that his brother hid there, he would do it for half the money. And then they went in the mountain. They had 3 very deadly traps, and these deadly traps led to a room where they found a booklet, and the booklet was very dear to him because it was all kind of drawings that he made of naked ladies that he saw through his telescope.
That's really fucking funny.
So they sacrificed almost their life for a fucking home-drawn Playboy. It's an old guy in a mountain. What else does he need to do?
Exactly. Like, he's alone. There's no one there. Oh, once we played this session where we had to find a heart from like someone. It was Faye Rules with a Z. And we were all had to be like, you know, college dude bros, which also fucking hilarious. And we encountered this really fat green dragon who, well, he was also he had also similar things in the cave, and we needed to defeat him, which was surprisingly hard for a thing that was so round it couldn't fly. You know, D&D gives you the strangest things.
Hold on.
But I really like the stories of your campaign.
It is what now I need to come clear. Lately I'm creating new YouTube videos on the Dan and Dragons YouTube channel, which is recaps of every single chapter. So it's like 20 minutes, and you go through everything that happens there. So that's really nice listening through. It's created by two good friends of mine, Ashley and Isaac. Hint, hint. Do you put one and one together? No. AI. Ashley and Isaac. AI. There's AI that you can upload something, and then AI creates a very nice podcast. A woman and a man are talking about it, and I just throw that online. And it's, in my opinion, it's quite nice to listen to, because it takes you from beginning till the end of one chapter of what happens. It's 3 hours of content, and they put it in 20 minutes, and they really nicely talk about it. So if you want to know more about it, just go to the YouTube channel, and you will. And otherwise, you can listen to the whole every session. But what you definitely will notice is
that was really nice indeed.
What?
The story, how they tell the story.
Right? Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. I'm not a big fan of AI, but that is just very.
Don't say it. If they're taking over the world, then they're gonna remember this. Say this.
Oh, you think they're listening in?
Yes.
Obviously.
Indeed.
We have another guest joining, but he's I'm not sure for how long we're still, but he can still hop in for until the end, until we're done here. But yay! He's getting some coffee at the moment because he needs it, he said. So whenever he's ready, I'll introduce him gladly. But maybe we can hop into. Did I just hop into another? Does anybody else have a question you would like to know, or I'll go through my list with some nice questions?
I think because I am mostly a roleplay DM, what is like the most noteworthy roleplay that you either have been a part of or you have witnessed as a DM or something that was perfectly set up that you have done in a campaign? I'm really curious.
Regarding role-playing?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the best, but what comes to mind right now, regarding role-playing, regarding tense situation, and regarding that everybody is... first of all, it's different if you role-play online or if you role-play on the table.
Yeah.
And for me, I remember, and it was so intense, and that was the session in Eindhoven with you, Ilse, where you didn't join for 2 sessions, and when you came back, the group basically fucked up a whole situation.
Oh, I remember that.
And your character did really not like that. And how you roleplayed that together with us was so intense that everybody was so in character that you were so upset and we were so... And I'm a Goliath, I'm more like, what's the fucking big deal? But then Rokna was also, and we were just... It was so intense that Anne started crying.
Yeah, that was also because she was really worried that I was actually mad at her.
That's how some of our sessions go, how deeply we go in role-playing, because if you don't know it, you think that you basically we thought that you could have thought that you were really upset, but you were just so in character.
Yeah.
And that is one of the most intense moments I've ever had on a D&D table. 100% sure.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It really was. Like, they fucked up so bad. And, like, my character was part of, like, the law system. And, like, really into, like, the things happen in this town for a reason, and they fucked that over. It was a great session.
It was, but let me quickly introduce Mr. Jord. Quick introduction. I started playing online because I was looking for. I've been playing one shots in Game Force in Eindhoven, and I wanted to join a campaign. So I went to the official Discord channel of Dungeons and Dragons, and there I saw a post. Come and join us here, and we go play Ghost of Saltmarsh, something like that. And that campaign, the DM, he's still part of the Dan and Dragons Discord. And can I introduce you as Jord? Are you listening? Are you there?
Well, of course you can.
Hey, there you go. Oh yeah, you were bullshitting with your bad English. You said to me, "No, I don't know. I don't know English." But yeah, no, true. That's a lie, because your English is very good.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I'm like the worst sounding Dutchman ever. You know, people are like, "Fuck, you're Scottish." No, I'm not. I'm Dutch.
I'm sorry, it really, really sounds like Scottish.
Yeah, and I love that. It's amazing. Don't ever feel conscious about it again.
I love it.
No,
Well, it helps, you know, if you want to roleplay a dwarf, it's kind of easy.
Amazing.
Anyways, welcome, Jord. We were just talking about some intense moments you had on the D&D table or something, and Ilse was speaking, but you can also introduce yourself very quickly. How did you get into Dungeons and Dragons? And if you're more preferably a player or a DM, just introduce yourself to the rest.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons like ages ago, back in the days where it was 3.5. And before that, I used a different role-playing system known as GURPS, which stands for General Universal Role-Playing System. And that's basically my introduction to role-playing. And from the get-go, I already noticed that being a dungeon master was my thing. And I never had the patience to create a single character because of my, I want to say my ADHD. It just kept on going. I wanted to make multiple characters. And being able to play multiple characters instantly led to me being a dungeon master. And it was like 20 years after when I met another one of your players. He's also part of your podcasts, Bergie.
Yes.
He's like a role player. And I know him of work. And he's like, yeah, I'm starting to play Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, fuck, no, you're joking, right? And that's how we kicked off on the Dungeons and Dragons Discord.
Yeah, and that was my first time that I joined an online campaign because I was so hyped. It's sad we couldn't continue, but we're still waiting to continue. At least I am. I'm still in line to whenever we say, okay, we continue, go so much, here we go. Eldoril Carlethian is waiting. Was it Eldoril?
Eldoril, no?
Eldoril Carlethian, yeah, half-elf bard.
Of course, not to mention the guy that blew up the ship and nearly killed the entire.
Oh no! Yeah, no.
Talking about your intense moment.
Yeah, no, but he played afterwards the completely same person with a different name. Yeah, no, he in our campaign he still blew up a couple of things. Yeah, no, that's true. And kicking indoors, really love that.
It's really clever, isn't it? If you think about it, to use fire near like a stockpile of gunpowder. That's so
Oh
clever.
yeah, very clever. Yeah.
Yeah,
But, was it J-Ren or was it Brom?
that was Brom.
Oh,
Of course it was
okay.
Tepion. Like,
Really?
Yeah, I was really assuming Brom, but knowing that you all the time used Fireball, I'm like, maybe in our campaign, or maybe, just maybe.
no.
It's really not that bad. I didn't use Fireball that many times. So I had to be very conservative with it. But it's.
I think every time I see a meme with Fireball, I have to think about Dimus. So,
Yeah.
I have a new sticker on my phone thanks to Ilse. I had to choose it with diamonds in my mind. It's a sticker because Ilse is just the kindest. My favorite dice I got from Ilse. Need to do a shout out. And yesterday she gave me a sticker and it says, "I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball."
Or you also didn't ask if the room had gunpowder.
Yeah.
In that other case.
But Ilse, did you, before everything happened, Ilse, I feel like I interrupted you with that you wanted to say something regarding. What?
No, I was done talking, I think. I don't remember. My train of thought is going everywhere, and I don't want to talk too much. And I also want to know what J-Ren's and Nikki's most moment was that you were like, wow, this is incredible. I need to share this with people.
Cool. All right. And Jort, of course, if you have a moment like that.
And yours, yes.
I mean, it's for me, like, I don't have that much experience, but, like, it's not really the most amazing, but the most awkward thing I had to do. It's like I'm playing with
Oh, I know where this is going.
four guys as the only girl. My boyfriend is the DM, and then once it just happens that I drink a drink and I have to roll what the consequences are of drinking it, and so it happens that I have to fall in love with one of the other characters, and I need to. Who was Draco, aka Bergie?
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, and every single time I have to roleplay that I'm secretly in love with a guy while my boyfriend is sitting in the other room being the DM.
Well, it's not a coincidence that when they made Baldur's Gate 3, you were able to romance a druid that turns into a bear.
Also, that you were able to romance a mind flayer. Just saying.
All right. Yeah.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. So
Yes.
yeah, that was like super awkward all the time, and yeah, it's just like every time there was a session where I had to like intensely do something. Like basically we ended up with the character, like the ones who don't know, the character that my character was in love with died. So my character really went for, actually her mission became to get him back to life. So like if we were ever gonna continue that season and that storyline, my character is gonna be all about saving the love of her life or something like that. It's just so awkward. Like, and you're fully into this, and then you end the session, and then you just come to your boyfriend and you're like, oh yeah, this is reality. You are the guy I love. Oh, okay. Let's
Yeah,
get back.
luckily you didn't call his name while. No.
Yeah, too much. Where's the airport?
Yeah, that was more like a. All right, the others. Any noticeable like that you? I found that a good question, Ilse. Like, this is a moment I have to share with everybody. Like, this is a top-notch Dungeon and Dragon moment.
Well, there's not in this campaign though, which I play with you. I still play with an American group due to my time zones, and I still play the Curse of Strahd, which is like the 5th time I've run it now. And there was a moment where I was, well, you know, I like voice acting a lot, right? So I was doing a part as a little girl, and I started voice acting, and like everyone went silent. And they were like, "Oh my god, what is this?"
Can you please do it?
What?
Like the little girl, the sound, same.
Well, my daddy doesn't really know what I'm going to. Oh my god, I can walk through the walls.
Oh my god.
I can remember you did in Dutch was that you did a tabaxi, which I also found very cool.
The tabaxi.
Yeah, the
That's
tabaxi.
kind of
Yeah.
like speaking Russian, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you made it a bit more Moroccan kind of thing.
Same.
You know, I try to be the tabaxi.
Love it.
Oh,
What are you doing with your coin? Do you want to spend it all?
why do I think it's more Moroccan? Maybe.
But
Yeah, I don't
when
know.
it goes with the money, it needs to go a bit more into the Arabic direction. I think.
Yeah. But that's awesome.
No offense, anyone. But
You don't need a voice changer that Burger used last session.
It's kind of like fair, you know, if you look at it from a perspective. A lot of role-playing stories that we create have somewhat of a tie to the Arabian Nights.
yeah,
I mean, let's face it, one of the greatest adventure stories ever is Aladdin, or the guy with the 40 robbers. What's his name?
Alibaba.
Alibaba. Yeah, that's the one. When he ventures down into a cave. I mean, that's a pirate story right there. I mean,
Yeah.
God of isn't Saltmarsh part of that too, where you have to go into this cave and find treasures and stuff?
Didn't get that far yet though, but
No,
good to know. You okay?
Yeah, no, I was just swallowing a sip, like a big gulp of water when you made that joke.
Which
So
joke?
I laughed, and everything went into my lungs.
Oh no.
Which joke? Did I make a joke?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll text you about it.
Oh my god. That perverted.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I
Somebody
just
failed
didn't
on their guidance role.
no. It wasn't even that. It was just the fact that I didn't expect Dan to say that. So it's just like
Oh, you mean the joke with the name during? Yeah.
that's just something I never expect to come out of your mouth. So I was just like,
How was that?
In my lungs.
I can be quite funny sometimes.
Always.
Just sometimes.
Sometimes, most of the time, I'm a very serious person.
85%, I would say.
It's a good thing you never play a warrior of sorts, dude.
No, now I play Veyran and Silverian.
He somehow always ends up with bards, so
Yeah, because I just like bards. Or a Goliath druid. Like, what is the combination?
So either you like to hug trees or chase women.
Yes.
just like in real life.
Yeah.
But he hugs trees in real life?
No. I hug women and chase trees.
I mean, I'll also always play bards, but mostly for the fun of it.
Yeah, I gave Veyran a nice thing. He doesn't play an instrument really. He uses poetry as his magic focus.
I love that guy.
So he is.
So how do you do that? Do you like make poetry on the fly, or do you use ChatGPT to make it for you?
Spoiler alert! I use ChatGPT. Because
Scored yourself minus on your charisma, man. Whenever I'm gonna be DMing your sessions and you use ChatGPT, that's gotta be a minus.
all right. Well, then I will use a different AI then. So
I'm just gonna ride them.
no, I just what I did in advance for the spells, I came up with them my own because then you have time to think of it. But when I do, for example, give how do you call it? What a bard does, like bardic inspiration. Then I just type in the name and make a short little thing, and if it's not good enough, I'll adjust it while playing the session. And then I try to insult as well, like making insulting little rhymes when you do the cantrip. Jesus, I'm bad with the name now. What is the insulting?
It's like,
What is the? Yeah, vicious mockery, like that. That kind of thing.
mockery. Well, it kind of like reminds me of a rap battle, you know, where you try to diss the opponent.
Yeah, that's basically what I do when I do vicious mockery as a
So
Vera.
fast, blah blah blah. You know.
Honestly, like I hate the people. Like I had some people who are just not creative as they're playing a bard with their vicious mockery. They just say like, I hold up my middle finger, and I'm like, come on, give me something more. But because usually it's a one shot, you cannot ask that as a DM, I think. But like,
Well, it kind of depends, I guess, on the DM. I mean,
it does. I'm usually like, some people I know I can ask of, but others who are playing bards or that I know are then really shy and they're just really not good at those things. So I don't want to push them too much out of their comfort zone.
I like immersion. I'll be honest with you. I like immersion, and Viranon, you know, Dan, he can testament to that. That when we used to play our sessions, we were very into the smaller details of things.
Yeah.
Karen might remember as well. Like the tiniest details, they matter a lot in the roleplay sessions. The more descriptions you have for your character, the better the story will develop. And I think that as a DM, that should be your main focus on all the smaller little details, the characteristics, how people play their character. That's all part of being a proper DM. Paying attention to them. You're playing the story for them, not yourself.
That's a really good tip.
That's a nice one. I mean, just.
Oh, there you go.
They go way too late. These things.
Well, it's fine, you know, but I was talking to Bergie the other day before we joined the Saltmarsh. He was part of the Strat RP.
Where he died, right? He died in the Curse of Straw.
Yeah, he died
Oh,
twice.
you.
He died twice. Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and there was a guy there who made a character specifically to fight undeads and to be almost invincible against all kinds of evil and stuff like that, you know, like detect evil, and he had some kind of, what is that, warriors? I think it's a warriors trait where you can detect magic, you know, kind of like awareness, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so built on being invincible that I noticed his game style, and I was like, you know, you do realize that you're creating your own story, and I'm just here to supply you with the information to tell a tale. And he's like, yeah, I know, I'm aware of that. So I said, like, you're also aware that the way that you play your story might ruin somebody else's story, because nobody gets to, you know, get a shot at being a hero. He's like, yeah, well, you know, this is my character. And I was like, okay, if that's your statement, then it's my job as a DM to kick in as well. And all the good rolls that he made turned into a negative. So whenever he rolled high, it was a failure. And whenever he rolled low, it was a go. You know, it was a success. And that's how I swapped it around.
Very interesting, because I think we all know sometimes players that tend to be on the foreground a lot, and
Yes.
you know, that's a good way to handle that with as a DM. Yeah, I had struggles though with the other campaign. I had struggles sometimes that it didn't really. Yeah, how do I need to say that? We had Sephion, of course, and he turned around after a couple of chapters. But in the beginning of the chapter, of course, nothing bad. It was the first time he ever played D&D, and the first time you play D&D, you're not really familiar with that. It's most of the time role playing. Okay, there's combat and there's quest, but most of it is about the experience and the path to the quest, and not about the quest itself. If you start playing Dungeons and Dragons as a video game, then you're gonna fail. That's my opinion. But he started playing it more like, okay, we're in the town, good. Quest, we go to the quest. We finish the quest, good. We go to the next quest. Yes, but in between, there's so much that can happen. I love if you play a session where the role playing is the whole session is you're in a tavern and you're just having fun with friends, and you just chat and you develop your character more and you go deeper into it.
Kind of like what we did at the courtroom. When
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. And Bram, who plays Sephion, he has grown a lot. If you look at the first couple of sessions for last campaign and how he's doing now in the new campaign in season 2, he's grown a lot. He's very enjoyable as Bromius Alfred right now. I need to give him credit for that. He's not kicking doors anymore. He's just drinking wine.
Cool.
So I'm not sure if he's ever listening to the podcast, but if he does, then this is a big compliment for him.
Even though we missed the door kicking a little bit.
Yeah, but we have. No, we don't have any door kicking. Veyranen is now a bit the annoying one, I think. With sucking people dry all the time.
Yeah, well, that's fun to play with, actually. I really like to challenge you with in the bar last time, like to give you the opportunity to test you.
I instead of that, I sucked the horse dry.
Yeah.
Very bad.
I had like one player. Like I also play with old colleagues of mine, and almost all of them are new to D&D. Like 2 of them did play Baldur's Gate 3 and like know a bit, and my boyfriend's in there as well, and he used to play with friends, but that was more drinking than actually playing. So I helped them create characters, and like I build a world where they are part of an adventuring guild and they do one-shots, which makes it really easy for me because then it's just a session with the clear quest instead of, having to think of something more. But none of them are really good at the role-playing thing. All of them feel uncomfortable with that, so it's really guiding, and they like exploring more, but they don't interact with each other a lot. But there was this girl who had, I talked with them about backstories, and she really wants to be a dragon rider and base her character on books, and I was like, you're level 1, or like level 3. No, you can't. That isn't a possibility. But what you can do is you are part of a major crime family and they left you behind in a crypt after they stole the major artifact. And during one of the first sessions, she's just like, oh, I see a little black note paper on the bulletin board and I just casually stuff it in my pocket so nobody sees it. And I didn't discuss that with her. And like I discussed some background things and the other players, I presume, thought I discussed that with her, but I didn't. So I went up to her the session after. I was like, hey, like your initiative, but I had a plan and this isn't entirely going according to it. So like having new people and having them learn the rules is sometimes a bit difficult. Because they also, like, they got gold from a quest and then they wanted to steal, empty the, I forgot the word, vault of, like, the entire town that they were in. And I was like, you're part of a good standing adventuring guild. No, you cannot do this. And sometimes I find it really difficult to say no. So I said, you can certainly try. And they did try, and then, like, 10 alarms went off and they stopped. But I don't know if anyone has any tips of saying no to your players when they're being chaotic.
It's hard. This makes me think of the Fata Morgana session that I did with Anna. I did the Efteling. If I do one shots, I create Efteling themed one shots, and then one attraction is central for these one shot. And the Fata Morgana one I did twice. Once was amazing. Jeroen, did you ever do the Fata Morgana one?
I have not done the Fata Morgana one.
Oh,
There was
I did the Droomvlucht and the Vliegende Hollander.
Oh yeah, Droomvlucht was split in 2 sessions because it was too long.
No, Baron. Droomvlucht and Bron, sorry. Yeah.
I did Droomvlucht as well. It was really fun.
So you also did Fata Morgana, Ilse, no?
Yeah, but like the other one, the fun one.
The fun one,
Yeah.
the great one, yeah.
To get past the guards.
Oh man, I had an idea to post on the Dungeons and Dragons Discord to invite people to join the Discord to play one shots with us, and what I didn't do was that I said it was 18 plus. So I think it were just teenagers who were 14 and 15 from Poland or somewhere. They joined the. So it was Anna and these two guys who played it for the first time. When I saw what kind of characters they created, I already should have known what kind of bullshit I was gonna get into. Because they just ruined it all. A woman on the market was not nice to them, so they wanted to stab her to death, and Anna was going against it, and me as a DM, I was just trying to point in a different direction, but he said, no, I'm gonna kill her, and this and that was, I'm not sure if Anna said anything to you about that, Ilse, but that was a horrible session.
She said it was a horrible session, and
yeah, I share that opinion. Yeah, it's a shame of all the effort, and this is what Jord then says, that some characters can ruin the whole session for other characters as well.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think at some point you just have to be you can warn the player, but if they keep going on, you just have to give them the consequence that goes with it. And it's even if it is a bad outcome, then
Yeah, I had a player who got really upset that they went down a lot during a very, very difficult fight. And I was like, yeah, but you're a sorcerer and you're going to the front lines. Like, I'm sorry, but your actions have consequences, even if you are playing a Disney princess. And, like, I already give you a lot of leniency in what you do and how you do it. But they just couldn't handle that, but I now know how to handle them better at my tables, because they also have a tendency to interrupt other people and stuff, and they're getting better. But, like, that's just something you, sadly, is still a part of your community sometimes. And as a DM, it can be difficult to deal with. For me especially, because sometimes my energy levels are very, very low.
Really? I thought you had ADHD, or do I just completely misunderstand that?
Oh no, I very much have ADHD, but, like, after a long day at work, and I think I was running the Crimson Gauntlet, which is a one-shot of mine that I created, where the characters are just basically thrown into an arena and have to battle multiple enemies. Because usually my tables are very heavy on roleplay, but I wanted to do something different and have different players at my table, but also, you know, learn some new things myself. So how would certain combat mechanics work and stuff. So it's also a learning experience for me. And I had 5 people at my table. One of them, this person that takes a lot of my energy mentally. And I was already drained from a long day at work, which was my last day at work. And then someone at the entrance asked, like, oh, I forgot to, you know, add my name on the list, but I thought I subscribed to your table. Do you still have a spot for me? I was like, you know what? Sure, I can have a 6th player, but then it turned out he had never played before. He hadn't brought a character. It was level 6.
Oi.
So look, someone else at the table steps up and helped me so he could understand his warlock character. And in the end, it turned out to be a good session. But it, like, mentally, I really have to remind myself that other people also have feelings in those cases, so that I don't hurt them, because otherwise I can really snap. Which I did multiple times to them at the table, because they kept interrupting me, and I just at one point said, not now, I'm doing something else. Leave me be for 5 minutes. And Dan, I think you know who I'm talking about, but I don't want to name names.
You shouldn't. And to be honest, I actually have no idea.
It's fine.
Alright, but let's... I'm not sure how long we're still gonna talk. I'm not sure how tired everybody is. Otherwise... Sorry?
I am gonna head off to bed. I will listen to the rest of what you guys talk about. I had a lot of fun discussing these things with you, and there's a lot of new tips that I can use. And I will leave you with one question, of which I am very curious what your answers will be. What is a mechanic that you use that isn't in the books? So, for example, I use when my players roll with advantage, and they roll the same number twice on the dice, so they roll 2 3s, for example. That's also a critical hit. And how I handle critical hits is that they automatically already do maximum damage. And
No, that was going to be mine.
yeah, now you have to think of something else.
Yeah.
Because you took that from me as well.
I thought I took it from Stefan, but it's okay. I gladly take it from you.
I thought I also took it from Stefan, and then Stefan gave credit to you, and I was like,
No.
whoever thought this up?
No.
But you can explain how this works. I will leave this question with you guys, and I will see you all next time.
Thank you for joining, Ilse. Very kind, very nice. Applause.
He's off.
Yay!
Good night.
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 Mechanic that's not in the books that I use. Well, yeah, the advantage that she says. I didn't, because nobody has ever rolled twice the same. But the critical hit, yeah. If you have a natural 20 on your attack, then you do full damage automatically. So if it's a d6, then you definitely have already a d6, and then you roll for the second one instead of that you roll twice. If that makes sense for your...
Same rule in my campaign. That's a...
Oh, how did you get to that rule? Very interesting. So the credit goes to Ilse for that one then. Anybody else has a something that is not in the books that you use?
But I don't
well, I have the flank attack and the in the way roll. So I kind of stole that from the miniature wargaming, because it's in there, and I think it's a very nice rule to deal with certain situations. So I have the in the way roll is that if, for example, if you try to shoot a spell or an arrow to an enemy, but one of your party members is in front of that enemy, you actually have to roll to see if you hit your party member or the enemy. So instead of only on a failure you hit your party member, you actually have a bigger chance to hit your party member. So you have to be careful when you shoot an enemy when someone's in front of him. And this, of course, the same goes the other way around for the enemies. But I think it's a very good rule, especially for example, narrow hallways. We haven't really, one time, but we haven't really had a fight in a narrow hallway yet. But I think that's going to be a nice one. And a flank attack, so that if you attack an enemy from behind, and another one is attacking him from 180 degrees from the other side, that you get a bonus on the attack. Not too massive, not advantage straight away, but just +1 or +3 on attack rolls.
Nice. Your? Nothing?
Yo.
You always follow the books very nicely?
Nope. I never follow the books. I consider them being guidelines.
So anything that you use as a system that is not in the books?
It is called the rule of cool.
Nice.
And that does?
Whenever you do something cool with your character, and I'm like, that's fucking original. No matter what you roll, there will always be a good outcome. Like, let's say that you would, I don't know, be on a mission. Your mission is to light the lighthouse because there's ships coming in and there's a storm brewing in the ocean and you need to signal them for some odd reason. You could just climb the stairs and, go into the lighthouse, and whatever comes your way, you can challenge it. Or it could be like, I'm gonna shoot a flaming arrow into that lighthouse, hoping that it will catch fire. Then yell at the town ports that there's a fire in the lighthouse, make sure that all the enemies are drawn away, then sneak from behind towards the lighthouse, kick in the door, run upstairs, make sure that everything is running okay, and then signal the ships. Now that's cool. And I'll be like, yeah, that's fucking original.
I get that. The rule of cool.
So no matter what, yeah, of course you got your dice rolls, and there's also a certain level of creativity that should be triggering your players, I guess. Not just dice rolls. I mean, a critical hit, sure. I never liked using dice as a critical hit to begin with. Let's say you would roll a natural 20 facing off against a dragon. The dragon's armored, has fucking scales that are difficult to penetrate with arrows or swords or whatever. Now you roll your natural 20, you get to do double damage, but due to the fact that the dragon is fucking resistant, has a resilience to stabbing or piercing weapons, you only still do half the damage. What kind of critical roll is that?
That's fair. Yeah. So it depends
so
a
instead,
bit.
I would
yeah.
make it a little cooler. Like, okay, you hit the dragon, you make a critical roll. So instead of just slashing it across the chest, you find this open space as it sweeps its claw. You manage to dodge and stab your weapon into its eye, blinding it. Now he's blind on one eye. He's screaming out loud, giving an attack of opportunity towards all the others. Now that's cool. That's a critical hit right there. You don't need your dice. You just need to, get that flourish going. As a DM, make your players feel like they've reached some kind of significant moment in their storyline, which, turns the tables. And I think as a DM, that is what triggers your players to keep playing instead of just going for plain dice. The dice are a tool you can utilize to make it easier.
Are you afraid then that they just questioning about it that because it's very easy to always be cool?
It depends. I mean, if you roll a natural 20, how often do you roll natural 20?
No, of course no. But if you say the rule of cool, like as long as the players come up with a creative, cool solution, they're gonna end up okay. And because it's very easy for a player to always come up with cool situations. And not rely on dice anymore. Is
well,
that not a...
It also depends, because like I said, you got a player right there that uses Chat GTP, and that's not cool.
No offense, yeah.
No, I guess you have to use your own wits or your own creative thinking if something would be plausible or not. Like, you have to utilize some form of plausibility in your role plays. It's like you could be spawning all kinds of imps and demons as a warlock, but how often would you get to do that before running insane? So I guess you have to set your own secret limit to what is acceptable and what isn't.
Let's be fair though, because I don't feel attacked or anything, of course, but I'm only using ChatGPT for the poems, for the rhymes. I'm not using it to like, okay, we are in a cave and we need to do this. Help me out to what is the best solution. That's not what I'm doing. No. Let's be fair. It's just, I'm not good at rhymes, and sometimes I need to come up with a rhyme in like 5 seconds.
Well, you just use 3 keywords and make a story around it.
Yeah, I'll try, but that takes me 10 minutes, and then the rest needs to wait. But all right, no, that's fine. I'm gonna try next session.
I mean,
you got me on my
song. It doesn't have to rhyme. You could also go for a haiku, for instance.
I don't even know what it is.
A haiku is a Japanese 3-line poem.
All right.
What you also have in Ghost of Tsushima, if anyone has ever played. So, but like it doesn't rhyme, basically, or not necessarily. It doesn't have to necessarily rhyme.
I'll look into it, and I'm gonna leave that a bit behind me then.
You can even use a bit of humor. Like, let's say that you would have as a bard, you had to inspire a warrior during a battle. You could just say like, a cry of pain, blood out of his vein, but then he goes insane, and now you're giving him rage or something.
Damn, you should just cover that. Come on. You also have ChatGPT open for that one.
No, I'm actually playing Asuka. I know time to.
I'm just joking.
That's just how I do it whenever I have to come up with
riddles. I think you have. How long have you been DMing?
Too long.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like,
It's up to the point where I can't distinguish my roleplay scenarios from actual scenarios anymore.
yeah, that's like we still need to really grow into that part. There's so much going on when you're a DM. There's so much happening. You're thinking of so many things at the same time that really
It's
put
so easy though.
You say that, yes, because you get used to it.
No, it's there's the thing is, what I see a lot of people do is they try to either force a story upon players, or the whole story is going nowhere and players are just doing whatever they want, and you're just sitting there at the end. But I've prepped 4 hours for this session, and people are still in the fucking tavern. What do I do? I'll be honest with you, the only thing I prep are my maps. And that's it.
And NPCs?
Nope. I do it on the fly.
All right.
And the reason is because, just like in real life, you never know when you just might meet someone on the street. So it could be anyone that you will meet in real life as well. I mean, if you walk into the city, right, you have all these people walking around you, and all of a sudden this stranger just walks up to you and goes like, "Hey man, have you seen the local tavern?" And you're like, "What? Yeah man, have you seen the local tavern?" Well, that's kind of like what I try to implement with my role plays. Whenever I role play a scenario where people are in a town or a village, I'll just generate them myself. All of a sudden this hungry looking girl is looking at you, and she's like, "Oh mister, what are you doing here? Do you have a spare coin?" And you're like, "Who the hell is this kid?" And it's just an NPC. There's nothing important of it, but because your players are thrown off their tracks by this little girl that just introduced herself, there's already a new scenario starting, because first of all they were trying to run a tavern, and now all of a sudden there's a hungry girl. Why is there a hungry girl? Where did she came from? Where did you come from, girl?
I just came from the house over there.
It's the asylum. What? A small girl from an asylum? What the hell is this girl doing in an asylum? See, and that's how you create all these stories.
Yeah, I get where you get. I get where you're from with you cannot do a player because you have too many ideas to create a player. So then you start doing it. Yes. Still though, I think you also can grow into it, and that with the more experience, that easier it goes.
The only thing that I have as a downfall is the constant shift of rules, which make it very difficult to keep track of things as a dungeon master, because if you have like 4 players and they're level 3, they all got special abilities and cantrips and whatnot, and I'm like, you're responsible of your own character, so you kind of like have to manage your own character. I'm not there to tell you about the rules or what your character can do or can't do, because that's basically your character, and you get to decide whatever you want. If you want to cheat, sure, go ahead, cheat. You'll be ruining your own story, So it's kind of like giving players that responsibility as well, I guess. And that just gives you as a DM more focus on the story.
That's amazing tips, I think. Don't you think, Jaren?
Definitely. Yeah.
Are you writing writing them down, right?
Well, I think.
What did you say? What was that? Did you? Oh, yeah, of course.
I have to admit, in many ways, I could already find myself in some of those ideas. Like, I wouldn't really be bothered if someone else is trying to outplay you, or I don't know, cheating. I think what you said is you're playing your own story, and if that's the way you want to do it, fine with me. As a DM, you always find a way to balance things out for the rest of the group anyway. So that's all fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, which I find a nice moment to stop for. Unfortunately, you joined late because your input has been very great. All of the input, nonetheless. But there's one question I would like to close with today, which is, what advice would you give to someone curious about getting into D&D, but they feel intimidated?
You're asking me or everyone?
In general. I asked questions in general.
I would say try to come up with the weirdest character you could ever think of and try to make that come alive. And that's basically what I'm doing for season 2. In season 1, I was so much focused on like, oh, I need to have a good character. And now I just came up with the most random thing I could think of. And I'm so much more enjoying playing that character. Like, that's how I would say it. Like, just try to make up something weird and try to work with it.
You can't!
Yes, exactly.
In a sense, you're saying like literally break out of your comfort zone. Don't
Yes.
over it, but go way over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To get comfortable.
Yep. And if people say I don't have enough people, I would like to play, but nobody in my surroundings want to. That was for me. Try to find in your local surroundings a store. Try to find on Facebook something in your local surroundings that there is maybe a store or a scene where people come together to play it. That's how I found it in Eindhoven. There was a store. Every Thursday evening you could subscribe to play D&D one-shots. And that was getting completely out of my comfort zone because you go to stranger people, you sit with strange people on the table. But that first evening I ever played D&D, I had tears over my cheeks because I laughed so much. But that was in the end there was something happening and there was a woman in labor and the DM's
In
like
the campaign,
not in the room. Very weird surroundings.
You never know,
But no. We were a group and we had to do some mission stuff, and then we came in a place and there was a woman going in labor and she's crying out, she's pregnant and the child is coming. And what do you do? And then one guy next to me, he looks at everybody. It was his first time playing, and he said, "Roll for initiative." The DM didn't know what he had to do. We were all just complete. I had tears over my cheeks because, that was just so. That was my first time D&D ever. Since then, I say just try to find people in your surroundings who want to do it. Still, if not, join the Dan and Dragons Discord. Nice commercial. And we go play once in a while some one-shots that I gladly host.
And the more people we would have, the more people would be forced to DM. But not forced, but like maybe even I would go and DM once.
Please do so. I would love that. You know, get some more one-shots in this bitch. May I say that? Yeah. Whatever.
Yes, I think that still fits the.
Does anybody still have something to add to that before I close it up today?
Well, sure. I mean, I could give you a word of inspiration why you should play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, well, go for it, please.
Do you have an epic background music?
I'll edit it in afterwards because I'll edit still. So cue the inspirational music.
Okay, got you. So, as part of being a valuable member of the Dungeons and Dragons Society, you get to live beyond your own imagination, venture upon adventures, adventures you can't even comprehend or even see in front of you, adventures you have with your friends, meet people and strange new aliens, meet all sorts of life. And then of course you have idiots who do voice acting, making it more interesting. Stuff like meeting orcs, going, "What are you doing here?" Or maybe some bards going, "Hello, madam, how are you doing? Your hair's looking lovely today." Imagine a world like that. If you want to experience this for yourself, join Dan and Dragons Inn and get your own adventure.
Wow. Nice.
Right.
We should use this as our advertisement.
I should, yeah. I'm gonna.
I love it.
It
Like
was-
put it as the outro on our podcast. If you agree with it, like love it.
Yes, from now on, that's the outro of every single episode we do. That is so amazing. Then, thank you, everybody, Jaren, Nikki, Jort, and Ilse, who already left, for joining me. I had a lot of fun, actually, surprisingly. I thought let's just go for it and just record a session where we all talk about D&D, and look at that. It's been 2 hours, and time flies.
So for the next episode, you'll be like, please stay a while and listen.
Yes, until the end. So don't listen only the first 5 minutes, because it gets funny after 2 hours.
Yeah.